Hello everyone and welcome to our fifth session of our course for the preparation to the theory exam in the Netherlands. Today we are going to talk about overtaking, turning and maneuvering. What do we mean by this? We're going to discuss topic like, are you allowed to overtake from the right? Maybe you're allowed, but under some certain conditions. What are those conditions? We will discuss this topic today. So let's get to it. So first, let's talk about changing lane. What do we mean by changing lane? It's very simple. It's meaning we're driving here in the middle lane to change our direction to the right or to the left, meaning to drive on this lane, on the right lane instead of the middle lane, or the left lane instead of the middle lane. Now, before we change lane, there is a 3-move dance that we have to dance twice before we change the lane. What is the dance that we have to dance? First, you have to check the middle mirror. So you have to look into the middle mirror. Then depending if you're turning right or left, let's say you're turning right, you check the right mirror on the door. Then you check the blind spot. Here's the blind spot. You check your shoulder. You turn your head to the right to check the blind spot. So 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. And again, you repeat 1, 2, 3. When the road is clear, then you put the signal and you start changing the lane. If you don't do it this way, maybe they will fail you in the final exam. So this is how you change lane. This little dance, remember it very well because we will refer to it a lot in the next sessions. All right. Now, let's say you want to turn right. There are a few things to do if you want to turn right. Let's talk about those. And you want to do the same thing if you're doing a left turn as well. So first, if you want to turn right, first you have to make sure that you're allowed to turn right. Meaning, we have 2 examples over here. Here we have a broken line, and we have the Vitz lane or the cycle lane. And here we have a continuous lane. All right. So here we are not allowed to turn right. So let's say there is a road like this here and we want to turn right. Because we have this wall over here, we are not allowed to turn right. However, if we have this broken line, we are able to turn right. So we have to do few things before turning right. So we dance our dance. We make sure that nobody is using this lane over here because we cannot disturb the users here. So let's say this lane is busy. So I cannot wait here forever till the road is clear. If there are too many road users using the Vitz lane, then I cannot use. I have to find some other way to turn right. But let's say the Vitz lane or the cycle lane or the bicycle lane, call it as you wish, is available. Then I can start turning little by little. I can bring my car up till here and go right after I make sure that there is no one using the bicycle lane. Always, you have to remember this golden rule. The golden rule says when turning, you lose the priority. So let's say you are driving on a priority road. So let's say you have the priority over here, but as soon you decide to turn, you start turning, you lose all the priority. So you have to give the priority to all other road users, meaning pedestrians, drivers of all vehicles, animals, whoever is using the road. You must give the priority when you start turning. Now here we have this case over here. We have this red car. We are driving this red car and have this pedestrian crossing the road. We are turning. So of course we have to give the priority to the pedestrian to cross the road. All right. Now here we have a little something for you to study. Okay. So let's say you are driving on a road with top speed of 50 kilometers per hour and you want to change lane. You want to, let's say, go right and you have to change to the right. When you have to give the turning signal, when you have to switch on the turning signal, the answer, if the road is 50 kilometers or less, so let's say 30 kilometers, 15 kilometers, whatever, less than 50, then you have to give the signal 50 meters before starting to turn. If you're traveling on a road with top speed of 50 kilometers, then you have to give it before 100 meters. If the road having the top speed of 80 kilometers, then you have to give the signal 150 meters before turning. And if you're traveling on a road with 100 kilometers per hour speed, then you have to give it 200 meters. And finally, if you are driving on a road with 130 kilometers per hour, you have to give signal 300 meters before turning. So this is very important for you to study and memorize by heart, because there is no other way to calculate and come up with those numbers. Those numbers, you have to study them and memorize them by heart. Now, as we said earlier, while turning, you have to come to the lane before taking the turn. So here we see the example. This car is trying to turn left. So he came to this lane, because if he reached to this lane and he reached to this spot, he won't be allowed to cross this solid line. So drivers must take this lane in case they want to turn left. And then once they reach here, they can easily take the turn. In the scenario that he reached, let's say, to this spot over here and he didn't take the turn, then he must continue forward. He won't be able to cross this solid line, and he won't be able to come like this, for example. This is not allowed. Let's talk about the priority at even intersections or equal intersections. First, let's quickly explain what's the even intersection. Here we have an intersection, and we don't have a sign here, for example, to tell if this is the priority road, or if this driver should give the priority to the others. And we don't have the marking on the road, so we don't have like a solid line here for the stop or shark teeth. So this is what we call even intersection or equal intersection. At even intersections, all drivers coming from the right must pass first, regardless at which direction they're heading. So this is another rule to remember. So let's check the scenario over here. We have this red car driving forward. He reached this intersection. Now let's say this is there is a sign here. Then this is not even intersection. So if the road is giving him the priority, then he can cross, no problem. But he reached to this intersection and there are no signs, no shark teeth, as we said. Then he looked to the right and there is this car. Now this car, it doesn't matter if he's coming to the right, if going this way, if he's turning this way. It doesn't matter. I have to wait till this car crosses this intersection, then I can cross. Here we have another example. So it should not be a car. Here we have this mobility scooter. So we have this senior person using the road because there is no fixed lane or cycle lane. So I have to wait for the user to cross the street. And then the third example, same thing. Here we have a horse. Same thing. As long this person is coming from the right, regardless at which direction they are turning, I have to wait and let them pass first. Now let's say the other road users, they're not coming from our right. Then how we organize the intersection, who will have the right to cross. So always, if there is no person coming from your right, then the shortest turn must cross first. So we have this person over here on his motorbike and he's turning to the left, or from his perspective, he's turning to the right. Then, and I'm turning to the left. So who should cross here first? So this distance is shorter than this distance. Then I have to wait till this person crosses, then I can cross. Now let's say the car from the other side, or the vehicle or the driver coming from the other side, let's say there is a horse over here and he's turning into this direction. Then I am taking the shorter route. Then I have to cross first and this driver should wait for me. Now here we have even intersection. As we said, even intersection, it means there are no signs and no markings on the road to organize the priority. So here we have even intersection, and then we have a tram crossing. This scenario, it doesn't matter if the tram is coming from the right, it doesn't matter to which direction the tram is turning, always you have to give the priority to the tram. It doesn't matter where the tram is heading and from where it's coming. At even intersections, you must give the tram the priority. Now let's say there are shark teeth. So this is no longer an even intersection. So here the tram must wait and allow the other cars to cross, because this tram has a driver coming from his right. So the driver should cross the intersection. Where we have an even intersection or unequal intersection, then the tram should behave as a normal driver. So if this tram there is a red signal, should stop. If there is as we have here the shark teeth, he should give the priority to the other drivers. Okay, so now when we talk about priority when turning, so we have two cases here. We have this red car trying to turn left, and there is pedestrian crossing. As we said, when turning, you lose all the priority, and this pedestrian, we see that she already starting to cross the street. This means that we have the pedestrians the priority. Same thing here. The car is turning right, and we have pedestrians. We have a pedestrian crossing the road. Then we should give the priority to the pedestrian, because this lady over here, she will not suddenly jump and change direction to run here, for example. She already started to cross this way, then she will go into this direction. Now we discuss, like, when turning, you always lose the priority and you always must give the priority to the other road users. Okay, unlike the other example, here we have even intersection. So we don't know who has the priority. There are, as we said, no signs and no marking. And we have this car traveling into this direction. And we have this person over here crossing the road. So here, should we give the priority to the pedestrian? We said that when we turn, we lose the priority, but let's say we are driving forward. Then in this case as well, even that you are not turning, like in this case, you have to give the priority to the pedestrians. So till the pedestrian cross the road, then we can cross. In this case, we can see that the pedestrian already started to cross. So the foot is already touching the road. But let's say if the pedestrian is still waiting here and you're still driving forward, then no problem, you can drive. But as soon there is someone started to cross the road, even if you're not turning, then you must allow them to cross first, then you can cross. Okay, so let's discuss a different scenario. Let's say you were visiting some farm. Let's say you wanted to get some very fresh vegetables, or you wanted to get some special wine for a special occasion that you're having, and you visit a farm. And of course, when you're going to the farm, the road might not be paved, meaning it could be a dirt road. You won't be driving on normal road, but there are some roads to help people reach to those farms. Those we call them dirt roads or unpaved roads. So let's say you're coming out of the farm and you reach to an intersection. To whom you should give the priority? Let's discuss this. First, like we can see this image. We are driving this car as usual. And we reach to this intersection. We are coming out of the farm. We are using this dirt road or unpaved road. And we reach this intersection over here. Here we should give the priority to the drivers from right and left. Usually if it's a normal intersection, let's say it's even intersection as we discussed, we give the priority to the people coming from the right only. But if you're coming from a dirt road, here you have to give the priority to the both sides, meaning right and left. But this is only for the drivers. So no pedestrians priority when exiting unpaved road or exiting a dirt road. Let's say now you give priority to those two cars and there is a car coming from the opposite side, meaning we have a car like this showing up on the opposite side. Then should we turn or should we wait for the other driver? The answer here that we follow the shortest turn rule. So the shortest turn should go first, and we can see this car here, the turn is shorter than if we turn like this. So this car should pass first. Alright, so now let's say you are parked and you want to leave the parking. You have here, as we can see in the picture, we have a parking spot and we are leaving the parking spot. Then we do the 3-move dance. What is the 3-move dance? We check the mirror in the center mirror, and then since we are turning left in this scenario, we check the outer mirror, and then we check the blind spot over the shoulder, left shoulder. If all those are clear, then we can start to move. By the way, you have to check twice. Checking once is not enough. If you check once in the final exam, maybe they fail you. So check twice. Center, right shoulder. Again, center, right shoulder, clear, go. This is how you should dance the 3-move dance. Now, after you finish those 3 spots, you check all these spots behind right and blind spot or dead zone or dead corner. Then if there are no drivers coming, then you may pass. Here we have a car coming and here we have a moped coming. Be careful. Sometimes you don't expect a bicycle. So that's why you have always to check the blind spot, because a bicycle, it's not easy to see even on the right mirror or on the left mirror, meaning the door mirror. It's not easy to spot a bicycle. So always you have to make sure that there are no other road users before you exit the parking. Now, let's talk about overtaking. Overtaking means that I'm driving, let's say, behind of this yellow car. I am driving this red car, but let's imagine that I am driving behind this yellow car, and this car, say, it's driving 15 kilometers per hour while the road speed is 30. Okay. So, I can overtake this car, meaning like I can use this lane over here, speed up, then use the road. I can drive 30 kilometers. They allow me to drive 30. If this guy, he wants to drive 15, it's his own decision. Let him drive 15. But, if I want to go faster than him, I can change lane, then come back and drive 30 kilometers. This means I overtake the car, that was in front of me. Now I'm in front of this car. However, we don't call it overtaking when it's the opposite scenario. Let's say you are driving this car and there's this car parked. So when you pass by a car which is not moving on the road, we don't call it overtaking, we call it passing. Same thing here. I cannot overtake. Let's say this car is driving 15 kilometers per hour and the road is 30. So I cannot overtake this car like this. Even if he's driving slower than the normal road speed, I have to wait till the car pass. Then I can drive on the road. Then I can overtake this car. All right. Now let's talk about some special cases when you are allowed to overtake from the right. Usually overtaking is done only and exclusively from the left side, but there are only 5 cases where you are allowed to overtake from the right. Out of those 5 cases, there is no any other rule. So you have only those 5 cases we are allowed to overtake from the right. So let's explain. First, when we are at the roundabout. So let's say this guy is lost. He keep going round and round, meaning this blue car, he is going round and round in the roundabout. In this case, I'm coming here into this lane and I want to go to here, for example. Doesn't matter that I overtake him. I don't have to change till here, then overtake him. No, at the roundabout, I can drive on the roundabout and overtake this blue car and then exit the roundabout. This guy, maybe he's lost. He's checking all the exit, and maybe after 3 rounds he realized, okay, I have to go from here. I don't have to keep waiting for him and turning round and around with him. So I can take and I can overtake from the right in the roundabout. Let's check the other case where I am allowed to overtake. You're allowed to overtake from the right when you are in traffic jam. So here we have a traffic jam. Maybe it's rush hour. Maybe everybody is going to work at the same time. We have to drop our kids also at the same time. So there is traffic jam. Sometimes maybe there is something on the road. Let's say there is some roadworks or some accident. We don't know, but there is a traffic jam. In this case, I am allowed, of course, to use this lane as long as it's empty. So if, let's say, I'm behind this car, I'm behind this blue car, I can change to this lane and overtake and then go back to my lane if I want to. This is allowed to overtake in traffic jams. However, overtaking in traffic jams, it's not like if the road is like 100 or 50. It should be like 40 kilometers or less. Meaning all cars are moving 40 kilometers or less, then I can overtake from the right. All right. So here we have a highway or a road with 3 lanes, and we have a tram. When we have a tram and then the road next to the tram is clear, then we can overtake from the right. This is the 3rd case. Let's check the 4th case. 4th case, let's imagine that I enter the highway, meaning there is a road over here like this, and this is here we have the highway, and I came, I don't know, from a normal road like this. I want to enter the highway. Now the highway is 130 kilometers per hour, let's say, and you find a driver here driving very slowly. Maybe the driver is driving 50 or 80, so you can overtake from the right. This is allowed because, you know, sometimes or most of the times the right lane is used by the trucks or buses. Those type of vehicles, they cannot speed up to high speed, so they maintain driving on the right lane. And you want to use the highway. You enter the highway, you must drive at the highway speed. Then you are allowed to overtake from the right till you reach, let's say you overtake this car, you reach till here, then you change lane and you drive at the normal road speed. The 5th and final case, we are allowed to take right. Let's say we are driving behind this yellow car again, and we see this car is giving signal to the left. And I want to go to the right, then I'm allowed to use this lane and overtake this car and go to the right, because everyone is going in different direction. He's already putting his signal. He already showed me and decided to go left, and I want to go right. Then I'm allowed to use the right lane, overtake, and go on my way. So we have to memorize those 5 exceptions very well, because at the theory exam, maybe they give you a question, maybe they bring up this picture and tell you that this car, as we said, is driving, let's say 50 kilometers per hour, and the road speed is 100. Are you allowed to overtake this car from the right? Now let's talk about when we are not allowed to overtake. There are also some cases we are not allowed to overtake. Overtaking is not allowed 5 meters before and after the zebra crossing. So here we can see that we have a broken line and we have zebra crossing, but here at this area over here, so 5 meters before and 5 meters after, even if it's broken line, we are not allowed to overtake. This is a huge mistake. If you overtake on such a road, if there is a zebra crossing, that's a huge mistake, because this car will block your vision. So maybe there is a little kid maybe crossing, you don't see them. This car will block your vision. So that's why it's not allowed. Also, overtaking is not allowed at intersections, meaning you reach up till here and you found a very slow car, you keep driving behind that car. You don't overtake like this. This is also forbidden. Also, as we all know, overtaking is not allowed or prohibited if there is a solid line next to us. Here we have solid and broken lines. So the solid line is next to us. So we are not allowed to overtake this car. We have to keep driving behind this car till we get a broken line again, then we can overtake. In this case, we have only a solid line, and this is of course overtaking at such a scenario is not allowed. Also, overtaking is not allowed when we have this sign, maybe the road, we have a broken line in the middle as we have here, but here we have this sign. This means we cannot overtake even if the road is broken in the middle. This is applied to cars and mopeds, as we all know. So here we have picture of two cars, but it's applied to all motorized vehicles, not only motorcycles or cars only. So all motorized vehicles, they are not allowed to overtake when we have such a sign. Now, as we all know by now, mopeds sometimes are allowed to use the cycle lane or the bicycle lane. So when we have this sign, it means the mopeds or the broomfits, as we call them in the Netherlands, are allowed to drive on the bicycle lane, and they must drive there. It's not like they can choose between the bicycle lane or the normal road. No, if there is such a sign, they must drive on the cycle lane. Here they cannot drive. If we have only these pictures, this means only applied for the bicycles and snorfits, of course. All right. Now let's talk about some things that we should consider while overtaking. Here we have a picture of a truck, and we have a picture of a motorcycle. Now, always when you're overtaking a motorcycle, always leave enough distance. Here you should leave at least 1 meter between the motorcycle and the vehicle that you're driving. So regardless, of course, motorcycle or mopeds. Why is this? Let's say this driver over here got punctured tire, and he fall over his bicycle or fall over his motorcycle. Then there is enough space for him to fall on the road, not under the truck. So this is why we should always leave enough distance. And there is something else to consider. Let's say if it's windy. Here we have a picture of the wind. So this motorcycle driver, when this car pass, it will create a disturbance to the movement of the wind. So as we all know, this car will push the wind also, and the wind might disturb even the person on the scooter or person on the motorcycle, because they're on two wheels, right? They don't have that much stability as like a normal car. So the wind might affect those drivers, and they might overdrift depending on the wind direction. All right. So let's say now you are exiting your car. Again, you have to do the 3-move dance: mirror, mirror, blind spot. Then if there is no one coming, then you may exit out of your car. Now we can see this lady over here, she did a mistake because she exited her car and there is this person coming on the motorcycle. So now this person, he's not expecting someone to leave that car maybe. So now he has to maneuver and he has to change his direction. Maybe this will create a disturbance to the other driver, and maybe he will get into trouble. So that's why you are not allowed to leave your car till the road is clear. And you must give priority to all other road users. So let's say, as we have in this case, we have to wait for the other road users to pass. Then we are allowed to exit our car. Also, when we take off, when you start your journey, also same thing. You enter to your car. You make sure that no one is using the road. You open the door, then you enter your car. Then you do the 3-move dance. Now, let's say you are parked on the left side of the road. Maybe drivers might expect that there are cars parked on the right side of the road, so might expect that some cars will leave the parking and so on. But if you're parked on the left, the other road users might not expect that you will exit, or you're parking your car on the left, so you must pay extra attention on the road. Alright, so in reverse, you must give priority to all road users, meaning pedestrians, drivers, whoever. all users should have the priority till the road is clear, then you can reverse. Also, when you are reversing, you check same thing. You check the surrounding very clearly. You check all the mirrors. You check the blind spots. When you're 100% sure that there are no one surrounding your car, then you may start reversing and start going on your way. Now here we have a graph showing us the dead corner or the blind spot. The blind spot is this spot that we have over here. We can see that if you look into the mirror, we have clear view of what's coming from here, the green areas. But whatever coming on the red areas, we are not able to see from the mirror. No matter how you adjust the mirrors, those areas over here, you cannot see those unless you check over your shoulder. Now, if you're driving a truck, you have way much more blind spots than a normal car. Let's say if you are driving a car with a trailer, then you have more blind spots. So there will be, for example, blind spot behind you because you don't see behind you. You have your trailer behind you, so you don't see who's behind the car or behind the trailer. So this is what we mean by the dead corner or the blind spot or dead zone. I don't know. It's called different names, but I think the blind spot is the common one. Now let's say you are driving this car over here. In this scenario, you are in the blind spot of this car. So if this driver is not paying very good attention, maybe he will swerve to your lane and hit your car. So that's why whenever you find yourself in the blind spot of other drivers, try to leave that area as soon as possible. So maybe slow down a bit so you will show up clearly in his mirror, or maybe speed up so you exit his blind spot altogether. And as we all know by now, you're not allowed to start turning your car, meaning if you want to change lane, for example, from a lane to another, you're not allowed to start changing the lane till you make sure that there is no one using the road on your blind spot or in the dead corner. Now let's test our knowledge, see if we got the idea correctly during this session. Here we have an example. Let's say you got this in the theory exam. They told you want to overtake this motorcycle. Here we have our broken line. So are we allowed to overtake? Of course, since we have this sign over here, it means we are not allowed to overtake regardless if we have the broken line in the middle over here. All right, let's check the other question. You want to overtake the car ahead. Is it allowed? And again, we want to overtake the car in front of us, but we have a wall on our left side. How we can overtake and we have the wall? So it's not possible, right? Now here we have the truck in front of you is running slowly. Is it permitted to overtake it from the right? So meaning that we are driving here behind this van over here, and this van is driving very slowly. Are we allowed to overtake? Actually, no, we are not allowed to overtake because there is no traffic jam. There is no the small cubes. We are not entering the highway. We are not at the roundabout. Remember those 5 cases very well. It's not applicable or any. So in such a scenario, we are not allowed to overtake. What do we do in this case? We keep flashing the lights till this driver sees us. No, it's also not allowed. The right thing to do is to give signal to this direction. You start your signal here into this direction. So you're driving here, right? You put your signals to the left, like you're turning left. And you keep your safety distance behind this car over here, behind this truck, behind this van. So the driver, maybe he's not aware that he's driving too slow. Then he will check his mirror. He will see that there is a car behind of him putting the signal to the left. Then he will change lane and give you a room. So don't use the flash, don't flash the light, and don't, like some drivers, they cancel the safety distance altogether. So you find like the car stuck like here and giving a flash till this guy notice or this driver notice and give away. That's very dangerous. This is not the right thing to do on the road. Anyway, so let's check the other example. In the other example, we have the same scenario. So you are stuck behind this truck over here and you want to change lane. Of course, it's not possible because we have solid lines over here. So we are not allowed to overtake. So we keep driving behind that vehicle. All right. So you would like to change your lane to the left. Is it allowed? So we have two cases over here. Here we have pretty similar cases. We have two lanes heading into this direction, and we have our broken line next to us. In this case, yes, it's allowed to change to the left lane. No problem. We get change. However, in this case, the solid line is next to us, is near to us. So we are not allowed to change lane in such a case. Now, if you need more information about today's subject, you can check the links in the description. We have great examples available in the packages. As usual, by the end of the class, we leave you with the important words and terms that we used during the class, or even some important words and terms that you might use. Maybe we didn't use, but you might use. So make sure to read those words. Maybe try to study them in Dutch. You can always pause the screen, or if you like, maybe take a screenshot. I don't know. But those are the words that we advise you to study. And that's pretty much it, my friends. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the class today as much as I did. See you in the next one.